Wow. As I sit down today, I reflect on the last 7 years of the Moore Army being on YouTube. Even though I'm doing the reflecting on the podcast today, but even so, 7 years. Where has the time gone? Well. Welcome back, guys, once again for another podcast. Welcome back to the program once again. Another episode of the Moore Army podcast. Hope you're all doing well out there. Just as I said there at the wee intro, I'm just sort of sitting here reflecting today before I turn the machine on to record this podcast. Like 7 years on YouTube. It's crazy. It was 7 years yesterday, actually, but I have recorded a video. Which we're going to be putting out probably today. But 7 years on YouTube. It's absolutely incredible. But anyway, yes, welcome back to another podcast. How you all doing out there since the last time I spoke to you on Tuesday? Well, it's been not an eventful 2 days. It's just been a very weird few days since I last spoke to you, but more on that shortly. We also have another sick body in the house. As you all know, I said to you on Tuesday I was previously ill last week, right into through the weekend and stuff, but we've got another ill body in the house, which is not good. I think I've passed it on. So, not a happy camp. But anyway, before we go any further into the podcast, hello, how are you doing out there? Welcome back to another episode of the Moore Army podcast. If you're listening to us on Apple Music, Spotify, the YouTube channel, or on TuneIn Radio, hello. Welcome back for another crazy episode of the Moore Army podcast. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit subscribe and drop a like in this podcast too as well. But yes, another successful podcast this past Tuesday. Great numbers showing from TuneIn Radio. Great numbers from all the other streaming services. Thank you so much for downloading it and streaming it on all your devices. Thank you very much for the support. I do appreciate it. But if you are new to the podcast, as always, I'd like to get this out of the way before I continue on my rant and rave and talk bullshit for the next, I don't know how many minutes. If you're new to the podcast, as always, you know how to get in touch. Well, this is how you get in touch with us, but if you're a regular listener, obviously, you know how to get in touch with us. You can by the following methods for the program, which is the email, moorearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Also the old social media of Facebook and Instagram. Facebook being Moore Army YouTube channel, and Instagram being the official Instagram of myself, official Matthew Moore on Instagram. And also, if you want to watch us on YouTube, the Moore Army YouTube channel is available there as well. You can watch all the daily vlogs and more over the last 7 years. I know. 7 fucking years. Like, where has the time gone to? It's insane. Some of the vlogs on there are actually more very PG as well, if you haven't checked out our YouTube channel recently, because of the new YouTube restrictions and stuff on vlogs and stuff. So, but the earlier videos are quite funny because there's quite a lot of, not a lot of swearing, but more dad than anybody else. But you go and check it out there as well, guys. Also, if you want to get some of your Moore Army podcast merch, Moore Army YouTube channel merch, check out all the videos from all our YouTube channels, including Redmen Football Adventures, all the podcasts and more. It's moorearmy.co.uk. Well, I'm feeling a little bit better now since I last spoke to you. Still a wee bit rough around the edges on Tuesday, but I think I'm over the worst of it now, guys. But we do have another sick soldier in the household. Brooke is no longer well. She is, as we speak right now this morning, having her first day off of school for the entire year. Brooke has not missed a day all year. She took a day off today to recover and recharge because Brooke is not great. She came in yesterday from school saying, "Dad, I feel as rough as a badger's arse. You've given me that flipping bug." And I went, "Well, it's to be expected. We do live in the same household." it's a flipping nightmare because every time I go on social media or talk to a friend or something, everybody seems to be getting this fucking bug. It's going around at the minute. And I've seen a lot of people as well putting on social media that they have COVID, like the world's going to end. It's just everybody seems to be getting sick at the minute, which is kind of good because I like to get that wee bug out of the way before the spring comes around and the summer comes around. And you know, I was one of those kids growing up that I always had the flu in the summer. I know, fucking crazy. I always remember growing up as a kid. Younger age, I used to have a cold every summer, no matter what. I always had a cold or a flu. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, it's the summertime. How did you manage to get a cold or a flu in the summer? I don't know. It always happened. And it pissed me off to the back teeth. Remember having some really bad flus back in the day? When I was a kid, sitting in high school and primary school, loaded with the flu. Nowadays they get a wee sniffle and they're fucking going ballistic and they think the world's going to end and they're posting it all over social media that they have to put their funeral arrangements up for next week. On our day, you just get up and get on with it. But anyway, yes, we do have a sick soldier in the house. Brooke is currently sick. Well, she's not as bad. I did say to her yesterday, me and her were supposed to go out for a wee walk to the shops yesterday. I ended up just being Lewis and I going instead. So when I said to her, you know, listen, just go back to bed and stuff, and she's just obviously took herself off to bed. And she came down last night for a wee brief moment for about 9 o'clock last night. She came down for something to eat, took it to bed and went to sleep, and she's been sleeping ever since. Well, I went in this morning to wake her up to see how she was feeling. And I said to her, look, Brooke, listen, you haven't had a day off all year, darling. The school's not going to bust your balls for having one day off. And she was like, I know, Dad, but I really want to go in. I was like, Brooke, you're exhausted, you're tired, you need to sleep. You need to sleep this bug off. And saying for Brooke to sleep longer is not a problem, because considering Brooke loves her sleep, I always say if sleep was an Olympic sport, Brooke would be a fucking gold medalist multiple times over. She adores her sleep, so doesn't get that from fucking me though. I'm a night owl. But I went into this morning there about 7:30, see how she was doing, and she just lifted her head off the pillow and just looked at me with that sort of like glazed look over her face, like, oh daddy, do you still feel as bad? And she went, not really, but I still feel rough. I says, right, dose yourself up, a couple of paracetamol, plenty of water, and just sleep through the day. And she's supposed to be going to work today actually as well. So I said to her, look, listen, just sleep all day. I mean, I'm sitting here this morning now recording this podcast at 10:30 in the morning, and she's still sleeping. She's been back to sleep again, and doesn't start work till 5 today. So I've said to her, look, listen, just sleep till about 3 today. See how you feel. Get up, get a fresh shower, get clean clothes on you. The best method for getting rid of this bug is sleep. You know, but I mean, when I had it last week, I was fucking drained. I mean, I was exhausted. Even when I went to Londonderry last weekend for football, even when we took off on the team bus, I was falling asleep on the team bus on the way down because I was just physically drained. It just literally drains the life out of you. But I've seen a lot of people, like family members and all, posting on their private social media pages over the last couple of days that they've had this bug and it's going around and people are getting it. And then I see other people I was talking to as well say they have COVID. So, but again, you know yourself, guys, I said this for a long time, you know, once you lock people away from the world and they don't mix up with each other for a long time, once you re-release them back into the public again, obviously all these bugs and colds and flus are all going to reappear again because people are mixing again. Because I've seen a lot of people online panicking and saying, oh my god, COVID's happening our way again. It's a fucking bug, seriously. I actually commented on a page yesterday. I'm not going to say who the person was like, but I commented on their page. They were like, oh my god, COVID's coming back. I think I'm going to have to stay in the house for another week or two just to make sure the wave flattens. And I just wrote, fuck me. I actually wrote in big bold letters, fuck me, wise up. It's a cold going around. What did we all do before this crap came on in our lives? We all just get up and get on with it. Seriously? Fuck me. People still piss me off. So did I. It was in the shop yesterday and I saw a young couple, still running around with their muzzles on their face and stepping back from people and have their gloves in their hands and all. And I'm standing looking at Lewis going, are they for fucking real? Like, seriously? And Lewis looked at me and went, Dad, don't. And I went, yeah. And then I walked outside to the car park and saw someone in their car, driving their car with a mask on, inside the car on their fucking own. And I just looked at them. They drove past really slow, and I just looked at them and I just went, oh my God, seriously, you weird person. That was being nice. And I looked at Lewis and I mean, why do people do this crap? Are they really... Oh... It's unbelievable. Like, one sniffle, one cold, and people think the world's going to blow up now. It's crazy. You know, I don't even know why I told the story about the people who live not too far from me, who are in, I would say they're probably mid to late 30s, who have not left their house since fucking COVID started. They literally still have their food and all delivered to their house. They sit in their house with masks on. And how I know this is, I have to walk past their house to go to my mother's house. And when you walk past their house during the day, their windows wide open for to see straight inside, and they're sitting on their sofa or whatever, and they're wearing masks in their house. They don't. I've spoke to people who live nearby them. They will not leave their fucking house. Like, literally, they have not left their house in like 3 years. And they're young, fit, and healthy people with no kids. And again, they will not leave their house. I even asked one of the people who knew them and said, "Do they have any underlying health problems or whatever?" And they went, "No, they do not. They're both fit and healthy. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't do, but they just won't leave the house because they're scared of this COVID crap." And I'm like, for the love of fucking Pete, really? And every time you walk past the house, the TV's on the wall facing the window, so you see their TV clear as day above their fireplace. And every time you walk past their house, all you see on the TV is the news. So clearly these people have been completely brainwashed by this nonsense. But anyway, enough of COVID for an hour episode. I want to talk about COVID again. It fucking pisses me off. But going back to Brooke, Brooke's feeling a bit okay. She's not too bad. She'll hopefully be okay by this afternoon. Just been dosing her with paracetamol and stuff like I did with myself. So, yeah, no, she's doing alright. Just, again, you know what it's like, guys, when you catch one of these bugs, it knocks you off your feet for a day or two. I mean, as I sit here this morning, I'm still feeling a bit fatigued, but again, I'm a bit of a night owl, and not that I had a late night last night. It's just when I get into bed, sometimes I crawl into bed at night and my mind starts to wander and I worry about different things that keeps me awake a bit longer than it should be. But it's another story for another day. But anyway, no, Brooke's okay. She's doing fine. She's just getting there. She's not in the video I recorded last night for the 7-year anniversary of YouTube. I just said to the two of them, like, listen, you two just don't bother. I'll do it myself. Because Lewis had a lot of homework last night as well. He was snowed under with Ma's homework from school and other bits and pieces too. So I recorded the video myself. So, and it will be released today at some point. So, but no, no, it's one of those eye bugs, guys. It knocks you for a six. And it was going about there for a while. Even when I was in the team bus there on Saturday football, there was 2 or 3 of the players were even saying they were feeling a bit ropey. So they were told to go home and rest up and recuperate and get some sleep and whatever else, because we've got a big game coming up on Saturday here. So, but no, it's one of them bugs. Just basically knocks you. It's a fucking pain in the ass, to be honest. But just makes you want to sleep. Not that's a bad thing, because I don't really sleep that often, so it's a good thing. But here's hoping Brooke will be fine over the next few days. So, but anyway, yes. What have I got to talk about on the podcast today? We've got Jackass of the Week coming up. We're also going to be naming the donkey of Jackass of the Week. That's right, that's today. We have a name. I was going to do, as I said to you guys, I was going to do a wee video picking out the actual winner of the name, but trying to get that video recorded last night for the anniversary, and a couple of other things on last night too as well. I was trying to keep an eye on Brooke as well, so just decided, listen, I'll do it off camera, and we've picked the winner. And we've got a name of the donkey. So, yeah. Some of the names he's given me were just absolutely priceless. But we're going to talk about that today as well. Here on the podcast. Just so many things I want to bring up today on the podcast as well. You've been talking to me about the struggles. Like, a lot of you's been sending me your stories about struggling, about, you know, the cost of living and stuff like that there, and not just even that there, everything in general, everything's been up in price. But I've been calling for fucking 3 years since this whole COVID nonsense came along. Everything was going to go up through the roof. But just everybody they're wanting to talk about the inflation, why everything's going up in price so much. Not even just the usual gas, electric, all that stuff, the likes of food and just general stuff in general. It's just, everything's just went up in fucking price. And everybody just seems to be jumping on this bandwagon. Also, we've got some more, a couple of you made it public, a couple of you have contacted me wanting to see this email that I talked about on Tuesday's episode of the podcast about, the person who took it out of their time to send me like a 7-paragraph email ranting and raving at me, saying they're determined to do everything in their power to take me off the air and take me off YouTube, and they're going to write emails to every person or every place I do regular vlogs at, whether it be football grounds. They're going to contact the likes of Liverpool, the Welders, which you'll be contacting me, by the way. Go ahead and do that, because your email will be laughed at. Contacting all these different airports and all this, is they're going to contact everywhere I go to try and stop me from vlogging, because they think I'm such a bad person and I shouldn't be allowed on YouTube. I should be cancelled. I should be cancelled. So I'm going to talk about more about the woke dopes, I call them. The cancel culture, because there's a wee thing coming up here now about charities. They're now targeting charities. Sad bastards they are. Yeah, no fucking life. So a lot of people asked me to publicise this email, and again, normally I would, but this person seems a little bit sick and twisted. They actually sent me another email after Tuesday's podcast saying they're going to take legal action against me. Ooh, do you see the shit running down my leg of fear? Wow. Yeah, go and try and prove that in the court of law, you fucking woke-tard. Unbelievable. So we're going to talk about more about that, because now the cancel culture, the woke brigade's now aiming charities. How sad are these people? Like, they're really on a fucking rampage to try and stop everybody. Like, oh my God, really? Get yourselves a fucking life. So we're going to talk about that briefly, shortly. Obviously, I want to answer some of your emails too as well. And we'll talk about obviously what I'm up to this weekend and whatnot. So I got some good messages as well. Oh, by the way, before I do go any further, I did get I know obviously I've been jumping the gun here and stuff like that about emails and whatnot. I got a message back from remember the person was talking about in Tuesday's podcast, the people who were getting married and they have a family, their wee kids and all watch the vlogs, to get round the table regularly to talk about dinner time, to watch all the vlogs and stuff like that there. I got a response back from them, and I wanted to bring it up on the podcast today because they are lovely people. I actually got a message back from the girl Laura, who originally emailed me about the couple getting married and their family and whatever else. She wrote me a message back on Instagram saying, Matthew, thank you so much for the shout out today. My God, the kids were jumping up and down screaming. Made us all a bit emotional, really. Thank you again thank you again. You don't know how much it means to us. And I wrote back to send him, no problem, guys. Hope the wedding's a huge success. In fact, I actually spelled the word wedding, weeding, instead of wedding. Mistyping. And I just let me know how it goes. So this, I got a response back from him again. So I wanted to make that public today here on the podcast. That apparently the family loved the podcast on Tuesday. So guys, thank you so much for that again. Just be messages like that there make my day. So they do. But let's get on to something here. Everybody keeps telling me about their situations and how they're struggling. And I've talked about the cost of living crisis and all on the podcast months ago. But a lot of you recently have been talking about inflation and about how it's affecting you. I mean, people are saying they're out there working extra hours even just to try and keep the lights on in the house and pay the bills, and the cost of food's atrocious. Everything right across the board, not even just your main stuff, everything outside of that, the likes of general pleasures of life, like a concert ticket or a night out in general, or just something like that there. The cost is going through the roof. Some of the main things that are coming up this week in the sort of like the area of news and stuff like that there, obviously been the food prices have been up, obviously the gas, the electric, etc. Work shortages as well, so people are having to work more hours to try and get more money, you know what I mean? And obviously the wages is obviously an issue too as well. there's been a lot of strikes, as you know, recently within the public sector, like trains, buses, airports, and things like that, because people are not getting paid enough money to keep up with this cost of fucking living bullshit. Just as a lot of you have been contacting me about it, and just they're all wanting to know why, in my opinion, that I think that everything is going up in price. I mean, this past week or so, I've had at least about 7 or 8 emails from different people saying that they're working like 2 jobs now to try and pay the bills. They're just about scraping by. I mean, this time 3-4 years ago, they were living okay, comfortably. Now they're fucking struggling. They're on their hands and knees. I even got a story from a couple who sent me a message saying they were saving for 3 years to buy a new car, and now they can't afford it, and they've had to return it back to the company who they bought the car from because they can't afford the repayments on it, because the cost of everything's been through the fucking roof. Now, guys, I called this like, I would say April 2020. Like, I remember like saying, I'm going to tell you a story actually about this, and I don't even know why I've said this in the podcast before, but I've told people this. I did a vlog back in I don't know when it was, April, May 2020, whenever the whole COVID thing was going on. It was the vlog where Mum and Dad bought us new outdoor garden furniture. Dad went out of his way and spent hundreds of pounds on a new outside table and chairs for us for our garden, because at the time we were getting work done, we were getting the new decking and all built at the top of the garden, which you've all seen in the vlogs many a time, all different wee things. And Dad and Mum went out that time during the start of the pandemic, or scamdemic, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and bought this stuff for us. And there's a vlog in it where you see Dad handing over the fence to us, but he walks away, and we couldn't go near each other. Mum and Dad wouldn't even come up the fucking driveway, which was just a fucking nightmare. But I have footage, guys, which I don't, maybe one day maybe release, I don't know, because I don't want to get a strike from fucking YouTube because of all the wee numpties in the office of YouTube that would probably cancel me because of what I say in this clip. I pulled the camera away at one point and do a cut, okay, and at one point I actually forgot that the camera was still rolling, and I actually you hear me talking to Mum in the garden, obviously down across the garden, where I turn around to Mum and say, you know, what my views were on COVID. I think it's going to end up being a flu, it's going to be a load of bollocks and all this here. And then I turned around and said to her, one thing was, Mum, where do you see when this crap ends? Things are going to go up in price. She goes, what do you mean? I asked me, well, everybody's going to be sitting at home getting paid. I think this was just after furlough was announced. April 2020, whatever it was. Well, they were saying, we're going to pay your wages and stuff. People are going, do you think the government's going to be giving all this money out to pay people's wages for free without trying to recoup it? And you hear me saying it in that clip. I turn around and I say in that clip, Mum, seriously, they're going to be putting prices back up to try and recoup the money. They're either going to put taxes up, national insurance is going to go up, or they're going to do something where, we paid your wages, now you got to pay us back in some capacity. Do you think the government gives money away for free? And she went, oh no, she used the term, you're full of shit. And I went, Mum, I'm fucking telling you. And then another clip I had as well, when they finally, I think it was a month or so later, they come in, sat in the garden, but they weren't anywhere near us. Again, I had the camera recording that time of vlog, and what was it called that day? I think it was the day Mum was doing a wee walking exercises up and down the garden. And I left my camera on a chair, and I didn't even realise it was on. And some of the footage in that, I was saying to Mum, like, Mum, this is going to end up being a flu. And Mum sitting there, and you hear Mum saying to her, like, all you see in the shot's just Mum and Dad's feet, but you can hear them talking, and you hear Dad saying, like, oh no. But Mum's like, no, it said on the news that, you know, this is a killer virus, and if you catch it, you'll die, and blah 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 blah. And I remember just turning around and saying, Mum, it's going to be a flu, trust me. And she was like, no, you hear Mum in the video, clear as day. No, you don't, no. And the reason why I never released that footage is because of a lot of reasons. Well, if I put it out on YouTube, then I would have been called a fucking, conspiracy theorist. I would have been called an anti-vaxxer. I would have been called, all these different things that they were coming out with at the time. And that's why I didn't put that clip out on YouTube. But again, I still keep that. And I actually said to Mum a few weeks ago about that, and she went, did you? And I was like, yeah. That's what I said to you that day out in the front garden. That's what I said to you that time out in the back garden. About the cost is going to go through the roof, cost of living. You think the government's just going to sit back and go, yeah, we're going to give millions and millions of people. Okay, there's people on benefits, which is a different situation, but people who are on good jobs are going to get their wages paid to sit on their ass at home, which a lot of them still do to this day, sitting on their ass and, I don't want to go back to work, I'm too scared to go back, I'm intimidated by the COVID virus. Some of them just became lazy fucking assholes now because of it all. And I said this to Mum, and I was like, Mum, I told you back then they're going to put the prices of things up, and this is exactly what they're doing now. Electric, gas, food, your general essentials, everything has went up in price. Everything's went up in price, and this is how look at these gas companies and oil companies about the money they're making back, the profit. BP, it was a BP came out there a few months ago, I even talked about it here on the podcast, that the profits that they're making is their biggest in history. Are you fucking surprised? And then they're all saying it's all to do with this Ukrainian-Russian war and all that. What a load of fucking shit. Listen, I was saying this in 2020 when this crap happened. You know, I was like, Mum, I'm telling you, things are going to go up in price. But this, like, talk about cost of living. And this actually makes me laugh when I think back about it now. All the stores were shut, right, apart from the likes of B&M's, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, all those big supermarket chains. So you couldn't go into the shops, the likes of, I don't know, Primark, New Look, all those different shops to buy clothes, but you could go into Tesco's and Sainsbury's and buy clothes. Okay? All these other places were shut, but you could go into other stores. All these other big places like B&Q and Screwfix and where else? Let me think. Homebase and all these big stores were all closed. Couldn't buy any stuff for your gardens for the summer, but you could go to B&M Bargains and buy all your outside stuff, the likes of your paints and your garden furniture and all that other stuff. Because remember when everybody was doing their gardens and stuff like that during 2020, everybody was out building stuff in their gardens and decorating their homes and blah blah blah. Yeah, think about that. And I said to Mum, listen, it's bullshit. And she went, no, it's not. Mum, I'm telling you now, they're going to put the price of everything up. But the point I'm trying to make here now is that I was saying that the prices are going to go up. And this is what happened now. Okay, the price of petrol and diesel went up through the fucking roof. It is dropping a little bit now. But I mean, I get so many stories sent to me all the time from different people saying to me, you know, Matthew, I wanted to share my experience with the whole cost of living or general living. I mean, even the prices of going out on a night out is even more now. The prices of alcohol's went up even more. The price even to go on a date night with your partner. Restaurants have put their prices up in food. Remember that whole eat out to help out bullshit they done? Remember that? That was fun. Remember all that there? Oh yeah, 50% off your bill, blah blah blah. Now look at the prices of fucking restaurants. Extortionate. I was talking to a fellow I know who works for Translink there a few weeks ago. We were talking about the places in Liverpool. He would go to Liverpool quite a lot too as well. He knows places where he would go to eat food and all too as well. And then he goes back now and he says the prices are fucking doubled. This is how they're making their money. Open your eyes, people. But I get all these stories all the time from different people saying, you know, oh, I can't afford this now and I can't afford that anymore, and I used to be able to take my wife out and do this, and I used to be able to take my partner out. I used to be able to do this and do that, and now I can't. And what really pisses me off the most, though, a lot of people were jumping on this fucking COVID bandwagon and making these extra charges and all for all these different things. Look at the incident, for example, one of my first podcasts I put out here, the Marami podcast, I called it Fuck You EasyJet. Because of the whole extra bag charges and all since COVID. They even jumped on the fucking bandwagon. Remember? I talked about that. You want to go back and check out the episode? It's called Fuck You EasyJet. It's one of the early episodes. You want to go back and listen to it, where I tell you my story about how I had rows and arguments with EasyJet over a silly bag thing, which was complete and total bullshit. They were just going around picking off random people and then charging them £40 for bags and stuff, which they shouldn't and had no right to do. All these people were jumping on this bandwagon. Everything was put up in price and people were being charged extra for this and extra for that. It's how they make their money. Even taxis are up in price too as well now. It's mad. It's mad. Everybody, and even the likes of a taxi man who needs to earn that living to pay his bills because the prices of everything's up through the fucking roof. Everything changed once March 2020 came around, or January or February, March 2020. The world's a completely different place now, and all this bullshit, all these things come out of the woodwork, and now, in my opinion, since COVID came around, our world is fucked up. And it's too expensive to live in now. And again, we'll talk about here shortly about the whole can't say this, can't say that bullshit again. It's nonsense. And the flood of emails I get from people every week, you know, it's sad. I mean, I struggle too. You know, have you not noticed I haven't been as many Liverpool trips this year as what I normally am? Because they put the price of the flights up. The prices of hotels are up. You know, I'm still going away this summer with the kids and the holiday and stuff, but, you know, it's madness. I'm going to London in July with Lewis, but I mean, even the flight to fucking London's atrocious. It's like doubled in price. It just gets to the point where it's like, right, this is just bullshit now. But I mean, from through the stories, and people are talking about this now, you know, people are really starting to wonder why especially the UK inflation is higher than other countries. Because we were doing all that furlough crap, and we were paying people's wages and paying out businesses and doing this and doing that. Look at the high street. The high street's fucked. There's hardly any shops anymore. It's all online. Look at the amount of businesses made a fortune during COVID. All them supermarket chains who were making a fucking fortune. Tesco, Asda, Aldi, all those places were making Morrisons, B&M Bargains, The Range. All those different places were making a fortune. My other businesses were left to crumble and fall into pieces. Where I live here in Bangor, in Northern Ireland, our town's a fucking shambles. Our main street, when I moved to this town in 1992, was a thriving shopping town. This town had all the big top stores in this town. You know, we had the likes of your Toys R Us's and Tesco's and, you know, Woolworths, Wellworths, all those big different brands, different shops. We had a big shopping centre in the main street which had a lot of big name chain stores as well in it. And where are they now? It's a ghost town because governments and councils are greedy bastards. And it's all about money. That's what it all boils down to, and that's just my opinion on it. And if anybody else ever wants to email me again and call me wrong and say what you want, you're wasting your fucking time. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy, and I get all these emails from people all the time and messages and Instagrams. I want to share my story with you, Matthew, and I read some of those stories, and I've talked to a few people back about it, and it's atrocious. Even when I go to Liverpool, and I go into wee shops that I would go into, and you know, you see them struggling. You see other businesses that are no longer there anymore. And I've been saying this for fucking years. It's going to happen. I'm not psychic or anything, or I'm not like fucking some psychic who tell the future, like Mystic Meg. May God rest her soul, who passed away recently, by the way. Mystic Meg passed away at the age of 80. If you don't know who she is, go and search her up online. God, I remember her back in the days when they were the National Lottery and all first predicted. Used to do a wee Mystic Meg segment and all on the show and all. Used to read her articles. She was doing the paper all the time. She was on the TV and whatnot. And she passed away recently. God love her. Forgot to mention her in the podcast. Another childhood memory gone. But I ain't no Mystic Meg or no psychic. But I did say to Mum and Dad about this, and I have those clips to prove it. But again, I'd love to release them. But I know if I do, then the fucking cancel culture will be all over me like vultures. Oh my God, he's an anti-vaxxer, he's a fucking conspiracy theorist, get rid of him, cancel. Nah, fuck off. But yeah, no, it's sad to see, you know, about this whole cost of living. It's just absolutely insane, so it is. Moving on. Now, I am leaving my 7-year on YouTube thing to the end of the podcast, by the way, in case you're wondering when I'm going to talk about it. Old Bumbling Bars has been getting his balls chewed the last few days, hasn't he? About this whole Partygate bullshit that he keeps making excuses for. I actually watched a wee clip this morning when I was having my coffee with him. on one of the news channels, YouTube channels. He was sitting there and, oh, we're doing. Aye, Boris, okay. He was asked a question about the famous photograph of him sitting, they said they were doing a Christmas quiz, and all the bottles of drink all sitting around the table, and one of the fellow investigators said to him, do you think that's necessary for to have all those alcoholic bottles sitting there, Boris? And he went, well, it's a bit of a tradition at Christmas to... yeah, but we can't have a drink, and we can't go and see our families and friends, but you're sitting with your mates fucking partying. Oh, that boy is a fucking tool. Honest to God, he really is. How bumbling Boris. I think it's... I finally watched the last of this England, and it made my teeth itch. Well produced. Don't get me wrong, whoever made it was very, very good, but just watching all that crap just reminds me of that time when they were lying to us and locking us away, and we got to do another 3 weeks to flatten the curve. Speaking of flattening the curve, I'm going to cough my guts up here. Yeah, flatten the curve, and then Mr. Chris Whitty was on the TV, man who doesn't blink, looks like a fucking alien, sitting there going, next slide please, I'm 53 years of age, and I've never had a woman in my life, and I'm still a virgin, and I'm just a boring old fucker who lives in my old flat in London and has no friends and likes to make people's lives miserable. I only blink 3 times a day. Next slide, please. Oh, he was a creepy dude. Even the guy who played him in that This England's weird too. But anyway, yeah, bumbling Boris getting his balls chewed at the minute about this whole party getting, said he might lose his seat in politics and blah. Well, at the end of the day, you play with fire, you get burnt. Look at Matt Hancock. We talked about it on the podcast a few months ago. He went on to that fucking I'm a Celebrity and cried and boo-hooed for forgiveness. I just want to be forgiven. Boo-hoo. You fucking stood and lied to everybody and told us a bunch of lies, and then you walked off the stage and were standing groping some girl behind the stage, behind your wife's back. Why we were all locked up, weren't allowed to see our partners, weren't allowed to see our family and friends, our loved ones, our mums and dads in care homes, our grannies and grandads, and everybody was left to fucking die because of people like you. But you're out groping people behind stages, behind your wife's back and cheating on her. And you want us to forgive you? Kiss my white hairy ass. That's what I say. Oh, there's another one for the trolls. Oh my God, he's cancelled. Oh. So yeah, Mr. Boris Johnson's explaining himself at the minute. And for the latest I seen on it, it was he was getting his balls chewed. And people like him should be shown the fucking door, because he bumbles and stammers his way through life and everybody knows it now. And I remember at the start where he's like, oh, but he has a job to do, blah, 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 blah. And I remember even turning around one night to, who was it? Who was telling that time? When me and Sandra were together at the time, I turned around to her, I bet you 25-1 they're all in that fucking place partying. They don't give a shit what we're doing. We're locked up like animals. Those motherfuckers are sitting in there and they're having drinks together and fucking probably sleeping with each other and fucking everything else. All politics, corrupt nonsense. And then you look at the other side of the world, the likes of Florida, and your man DeSantis is saying, listen, we don't tell you to wear masks, just live your life. You want to live your life, go ahead and do it. You know, Sweden was the same. And we were all locked up like fucking dogs. But then they done the lockdown too late over here. And they even said that in that documentary, 6-part series thing I watched. You know, they should have done it at the very start and blah, blah. Load of balls. The amount of corruption has come out now since 2020 is just making my teeth itch, but enough of more politics for there. Bumbling Boris getting his balls chewed. Let's see how it goes over the next few days. Maybe he'll bumble and stammer his way to this one. We still see him in Parliament going, what was that, Boris? With the amber zone, the green zone can't travel into the red zone. Okay, Boris, go and do one. Anyway, moving on. Back to the old woke dopes. Yes, let's get back to the woke dopes. I'm a fan of charity. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'll cut a long story short. I've done work for charities, and I know there's a lot of charities out there that are corrupt as fuck. And I make a shot down for this, and I don't give a shit, because I've done admin work for charities. I've been in the front line for charities, taking phone calls for charities and call centres. I've also been ringing up to try and get people to donate for charities. I've done all different types of work for charities over the last lot of years, which I'm not going to name them because, well, apart from some of them, which I will never donate to because I think they're the biggest crock of shit. And I've seen where the money goes to. And there is some ones out there. Obviously, every charity, well, not every charity is the same. I donate to charities. I donate to Northern Ireland Cancer Fund for Children. I also donate to Marie Curie, and also donate to Great Ormond Street Hospital for the sick children. Been doing it for years. The reason why I picked that is obviously because of sick children. The other two ones are personal to me, so they are. Northern Ireland Cancer Fund for Children and Marie Curie. They are two ones that have a special meaning for me. Family links to it as well and stuff like that there, so that's why I would pick those two every month, and I'm glad to donate to them. Even when I was struggling, when I told you before, guys, I ended up with fucking nothing, bits and pieces. I ended up signing on benefits for the first time in my life. I still donated. I cut it down to a pound a month for each one of them, but I still took money out of my pocket to put in someone else's pocket to help those kids, because I know those charities well inside out. But I don't work for some other charities that are complete bullshit. And the amount of, like, you donate a pound, I would say maybe 10p of that pound goes to the actual charity. The rest go to admin costs and paying wages and the big highwigs who run the fucking charity who live in their mansions. And that's just me being totally honest with you. And there's other big ones as well you see on TV every year, which I used to grow up watching as a kid every year. And for what I've been hearing over the last lot of years where all that money goes to, I will never watch their events again on TV. I will never fucking donate to them, and they can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. But one that's obviously been a good one I've seen over the last lot of years is Oxfam. Now, obviously, Oxfam have had their critics over the years and about helping children in Africa and things like that. But Oxfam, do a lot of other good work as well. They have all their wee shops around the different parts of the UK and beyond. A lot of people have done different work for Oxfam over the years. And just reading through the articles this morning in the news, and these fucking woke-tard, cancel culture, fucking window-licking jackasses are coming out now and they're slating the Oxfam charity. And do you want to know why they're slating the charity? And I just looked at this morning and I went, you fucking people with nothing else better to do with your life, only sit and nitpick and find something that you don't like, you snooty, snobby, grammar educated, Guardian reading, fucking up your own ass, poncy, fucking woke-tard numpties, saying this morning Oxfam's being torn apart in the public eye now over woke guidance as charity is accused of becoming a laughing stock. I'm going to read a couple of lines of this here. When you hear this here, this is what these numpties are up to. The charity has been set up to tackle global poverty, warning against obviously striving potential. Sorry, here it says here, apparently has been now warned staff against the strive of potentially offensive terms in a new 92-page document. Oxfam have been dubbed a laughingstock over their decision to publish guidance, which advises staff to avoid saying, listen to this here, mother or father. Really? You're not allowed to say mother and father now? For the love of fucking Pete. What? They were targeting God. That was 3 weeks ago, saying God's not a he. God's not... You're not allowed to say mother and father now. So what the fuck are your parents saying? The charity has said, this new document's come out. Chapters are written up on race, power, and gender, justice, sexual diversity, and women's rights, disability, physical and mental health, migration, and feminist opinions for language use. Saying they're now a laughing stock because they use the term mother and father. Really? Where do I go from this one? Like, sir, I need to go and fucking go back to bed or something. They're also saying apparently they're discussing the decision to urge staff against using the term as well, black market. Yeah. Can't use the word black market anymore. It is absolutely... Listen to this one. I'm just sitting here, guys. I'm just flicking through it here. There's an army bit here I want to read this to you as well. The group says that the phases imply that periods are in themselves unclean. The terms pregnant women or people who become pregnant should be used instead of expecting mothers, and the phase migrant as a complex phenomenon over migrants' crisis and refugees' crisis. Sorry, I'm just sitting here reading this, and they said now about saying the term pregnant woman as well. Guys, I'm trying so hard to maintain my composure on this. These fucking numpties, like, legitimately need to get themselves a fucking life. They're targeting charities. They're targeting, like, schools, universities. You know, people are having their livelihoods taken away. This is another thing I've been saying for years and years and years, for at least fucking 10, 15 years. I've got a friend, when I used to work at Bangor Football Club, he's a very good friend of mine now. And I'm going to tell you his name. His name's Mo. And when I worked at Bangor Football Club, there was a lot of little fucking lefty fucking woke-tards that were like supporters and whatnot who didn't like me because I wasn't fitting into a certain category, because I wasn't a snooty, snobby little boy like them. I wasn't a grammar boy, I wasn't an educated fucker, and certain things that I said didn't fit into their narrative. And even before that, even when I was growing up as a kid here in Bangor as well, because I was a Belfast boy and I wasn't a Bangorian, as they're called down here, I've had to deal with this myself for years, and most recently at that football club where I didn't fit in with the whole grammar boy fucking snooty Guardian reading fucking narrative, you know, and the whole wokeness and all that bullshit, and all, you don't fit into a certain narrative, you're discriminated against, you should be cancelled and taken away and blah 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 and all that bollocks. And now all this crap, and I've been saying this for fucking years, this was going to happen. Again, I'm no fucking psychic, but you can see what's that saying? The wood for the trees. You can see it all coming from the distance. And I used to say to myself, oh fuck me, these fuckers are trying to overtake the world. And it's getting to the point now where they're walking around looking to be offended. They're wanting to be offended so they can go out and fucking publicly name and shame you and bury you. But if you stand up for yourself and say what's on your mind, oh, no, you should be locked away, you should be put in jail, you don't fall into line of all the little fucking Nancy-pantsy bullshitters. Well, I'm going to say this to you right now. I've had run-ins with them, especially that recent listener who again sent me another email, ranting and raving, saying they're going to take me to court. Fucking go ahead. Freedom of speech, motherfucker. I'm just sick and tired of it. Every time I switch on TV, like you put on Disney Plus, a kids movie cartoon network thing, and they're putting disclaimers in front of fucking programs now because it's offending people and blah. Nah, they're targeting charities. They're targeting fucking universities. They're trying to pump it into the brains of the next generation to be a certain way and walk a certain way and speak a certain way, and you can't say this, and you can't say he, she, you can't. I watched as much as I hate this miserable fucker, Piers Morgan, I mentioned it before. He was on Talk TV there, and I saw it popping up a couple of times on stories and everywhere else on Instagram. And these two wee fucking lefty woke-tards were all sitting, and he was going like, oh, you can't say this. No, and Piers Morgan saying, well, people can run and identify themselves as whatever they want. He goes, well, I'm going to identify myself as a lesbian black woman. What's the difference? And they were all like, well, you can't say this. He's like, but you're sitting there fucking telling me that a guy can walk around and wear a dress and say he's a woman and expect all the women's rights. Like, he sticks a dress on, now he can go and compete in women's sports and he can get dressed in women's change rooms and all. Look at that fucking numpty in Scotland as well, the guy who changed his gender or whatever, fucking registered himself as a woman now. And he got put in the women's prison and the women wanted to fucking kill him because he raped two women. And I reckon, my opinion is, he changed his thing because he wanted to hide himself for being such a shame of raping those fucking women. But again, that's my opinion. But The world's going fucking bonkers. It's bonkers, bonkers, bonkers. And these fucking tsunami of arseholes going around now saying that they're easily offended over everything. Then be offended. Where's the days where if you didn't like something, you didn't watch it? If you didn't read it, like something in the newspaper or on the internet, or you didn't read it. You didn't like a certain show, you didn't go and see it. Have a choice. But nowadays, you're not allowed a choice. You have to fall into a certain narrative, and if you don't, then you're castrated and you're cancelled and you're kicked to the curb. Which is bullshit. And this is where, but this is the thing that makes me more angry. I've done some research on this. It's maybe 1.2% of the whole of the UK are these fucking woke-tards that are going around doing all this. But people are now starting to switch on, and they're starting to realise, hang on here a wee second, I'm not fucking listening to this crap. Piss off. I met a wonderful lady a few weeks ago. Remember I put a thing about Dad? I was just after Dad's heart attack. We took Dad's car over to Newton Ards in Northern Ireland here to get his car fixed at a local garage. And my Dad's car wasn't even fixed. We went into a wee local shop area. And it was the night me and Lewis went to Fermanagh. This was during the day. We went into a shop looking for some gloves for Lewis because we knew it was going to be cold in Fermanagh. It ended up being -5. But we're in this shop and this lady came over, and I'd say lady in her late 50s, maybe early 60s. Funny as fuck. Just got talking. She goes, oh, you don't want to put ones on now. And she was trying to like stammer her words a wee bit because she didn't want to like offend us because we were younger. And I went, darling, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Nothing offends me. Listen, I don't listen to snowflakes and fucking arseholes like that. And she went, oh, thank fuck for that. I says, what do you mean? She says, see the amount of numpties come in here every day? Oh, that's offensive what you said to me. I don't like that. Oh no, it's too offensive. She says, I'm sick of it. And then we get into a bit of a conversation for 5 minutes where's the old school mentality where you can't have an opinion, you can have an opinion on someone. You know, I'm not saying go out there and be racist or whatever and be nasty to people out there, but if you have an opinion, fucking voice it. And if you don't like it, piss off. Me and this woman had a lovely chat. She was a lovely lady. She says, see about the young ones come in here now and they're easily offended, and you say the wrong thing to them and they're all crying and boo-hooing and whinging and going on social media and fucking crying and my feelings. Fucking no. Lovely lady. Lovely, lovely, lovely lady. And we had a good laugh and a crack about it all. But when I read that, go back to when reading that article today about from their targeting Oxfam. Can't say mother and father, can't say pregnant woman anymore. Do yourself a favour, go and get yourself a fucking life. Seriously, go and get yourself a fucking life. These are morons, every one of yous. Every last one of yous. Go away and take a fucking long walk off a short pier. Seriously, you need to look at yourselves. If you don't like something that other people don't do, just let them be. Let them live their life. They all don't have to bow to your feet because you think you are somebody. Fuck you. That's what I just say. Fuck you. And as I said, yeah, I got that email this week or day from that person again saying they're going to take me to court because of what I said, and they're going to. I'm just like, I'm reading that and I'm just pissing myself laughing. And it's not a wind up; it's a legitimate like person. You know what I mean? And they are sad individuals. So keep it coming. Because I could be talking about anybody in this. I haven't given out their name. I haven't given out their address. I haven't said no. So say what you want. Try and cancel me. You send an email to like you said you were going to send it to the Liverpool Football Club and get me cancelled. Fuck me. Like they're going to go, oh, let's stop the whole club for this one guy who's on YouTube. Fuck me. Really? You're going to contact every place that I've been? Do yourself a favour. Take yourself out of your basement and go and live your life. Moving on. Let's move on to a positive outlook. Yes, so Oxfam, I send my sympathy to you. You know, you do a lot of good work and stuff, and honestly, see people like that, just tell them to fucking sling their hook. But moving on. Yes, guys, on this episode, we're going to be celebrating 7 years on YouTube. I would have had Brooke and Lewis on here today, but as you know, Brooke's not well. Lewis is currently not here at the minute. I'll not see Lewis till way later on today because he's at school, and then he's got football practice, and then he's got to go for a haircut. And today's Thursday, by the way. You know what that means, don't you? It's beer day. Happy days. I get to have a beer tonight. Yes, not as much beer as last week, but beer this week. It's not 316 day again, so it's not. Beer day. So I'm going to have a few beers tonight. I'm going to switch off from the world. I want to chill out. The kids got a half day tomorrow. I actually thought they were off tomorrow. They've got a half day, and I said to them, do you really want to go in for a half day? You're finishing at 12. There's really much point getting into school for 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. I'm hoping they say no so I can get a lie-in tomorrow. No, my luck, the two will still go in. But no, honestly, it's Thursday, beer day for me. Have a nice wee cheat day today. What have I got planned to eat today? I actually got some nice stuff planned to eat today. So I have some stuff I'm going to pull out of the fridge later on and make myself something nice to eat. Even though it's cheat day today, I'm still going to make myself something normal to eat. I'm going to be heading down to the park today as well. I'm going down to meet Lewis at his barber shop after school. They'll just get a haircut, and we're going to take a wee dander through the park. So might grab some footage while we're heading through the park for another vlog. And then tomorrow night we're at ice hockey, which I can't wait to get back to. Saturday night we're football and ice hockey as well on Saturday, so busy weekend. But anyway, on to the task at hand. Yes, 7 years on YouTube. Wow, 7 years on YouTube. Can't believe it. From going from a channel that started, I think I've told this story before about Brooke rambling and raving at me about starting a channel, harping on at me for ages. Daddy, I started a channel. No, Brooke, go away. It's kept going on and on at me, so I did start it. And, you know, we've done obviously a lot of vlogs for a wee while, and then when we on YouTube and went viral, I think it was about 2 years maybe. Was it 2018 or 2019? 2019 we went viral. We're on YouTube about 2.5 years. Whenever the viral video hit, the Barcelona video went fucking ballistic and viral worldwide. Never forget that day. Oh, Christ almighty, I'll never forget that. Done a reaction video as normal, stuck it up. Thought nothing of it. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, checked it, 400,000 views by 7 o'clock the next morning, and I'm like, whoa, holy shit, 400,000, wow. And that was the day when my phone rang. It was BBC. They came out to the house, done an interview, and by midday we had our first million on that video. The video was now sitting at 6 million, and we were recognised because of that. Our channel just exploded. We ended up in news channels all across the UK. We ended up on radio stations, fucking TV stations all across Europe, Spanish TV, French TV. Fuck me, we ended up everywhere. Montage videos, online channels wanting to talk to us, just one thing after another, which then led to us being on Sky Sports TV adverts for the Premier League, and we ended up being as part of the Nike TV advert for when Liverpool first joined Nike, whatever you want to call it, their first kit with Nike. We ended up being part of the television advert. And yes, we got paid for them all. In case you people out there wondering, but you get paid for it. Yeah, they get paid for it. Paid actually quite well, thank you very much. Some of the things that YouTube's provided us over the last 7 years has been unbelievable. I mean, first of all, the memories. Like some of the things that we've done on YouTube over the last 7 years. I mean, you go back and look at all those videos over the last 7 years, guys, of all the, you know, the first days at school, the last days at school, leaving primary school, going to high school, you know, all the moments that Brooke and Lewis, all the wee things that they achieved, all the wee awards that they won at school, you know, things that, like, for example, Brooke did, like singing at the SSE Arena in front of like 10, 11,000 people, all the concerts we've been to, wrestling shows, holidays, weekends away, Liverpool games. Fuck me, the list goes on and on and on and on. The things that we've done over the last 7 years. Wow, we have been through a lot on that channel. We've done so many, and we've had a lot of people who follow us and love us, and then we get obviously the fucking arseholes for a long time who harassed us and tortured us and trolled us and, you know, literally tried to push me to the point where I ended up at a breaking point. You know, obviously had all our positive, but we've had a lot of negatives out of YouTube as well, guys. I mean, we've had our home attacked multiple times. We've been verbally abused in public by people. We've had nasty online social media abuse. We've had, to the point where, like, literally Brooke and Lewis were bullied severely because of local fucking scumbags thinking they're funny. Which we all ended up nailing those wee bastards to the wall, and the people who intruded as well. Like, people, they get nailed to the wall too as well, and their fucking parents and adults too. We've had our ups and downs, but we've had a lot of great moments too. I mean, I was looking back at some of the old videos the other night. Back in 2016, we were along on YouTube during the European Championships when Northern Ireland qualified for the Euros. All the wee different things we've done them, like reaction videos down at the live screens and stuff like that, and Lewis' first Northern Ireland game, and just all the wee different things, like, fuck me, all our football trips away, and birthday parties and fucking Christmases, especially Christmases were fucking some of the good times we had over Christmas. We've had a lot of people who've passed away. We've had people who've come into our lives. We've had people come out of our lives. For me personally, relationships. When I started on YouTube, I was with a girl called Andrea at the time. We broke up back in 2018. We broke up, and she was in the early vlogs. So she was my girlfriend at the time, and then a good while had passed after that there, and then you all met Sandra. She was in the vlogs for about a year or two. She was there during all the lockdowns and all the stuff too as well. And it's almost a year, actually. It'll be a year in a couple of weeks here. We broke up a year ago, which just, I can't believe it's been a year already. Obviously we had a lot of different people pop into the vlogs over the years, like friends and people of football and football players, and we've had, fuck me, so many different things that have been going on. YouTube has been good to us. Obviously had some of the bad moments, but obviously you get your haters, obviously, but not so much anymore, because a lot of them know that I don't take no bullshit no more, and I literally fucking go through them. I do get the occasional one still popping up, like that troll, the emails. Hi again, yes, I'm talking to you, hello. Did you take your crazy pills today? Woo-hoo. Anyway. No, but more positives. I mean, the amount of people we've met over the last 7 years has been fucking phenomenal. I mean, we've made new friendships as well because of YouTube. So many people who we don't even know still to this day stop us. I mean, recently there, when we were playing the big football game in Belfast, the Welders in Larne, we had so many Larne fans come up to us and say, I watch your, even men in their like 50s and 60s, women as well, we watch your videos all the time, we love it, and all those, is that your wee lad running up and down the pitch doing the photos and stuff? Yep. Tell them we all say keep up with good work, just be things like that. And most importantly as well for me, I've watched Brooke and Lewis grow up over the years as well on YouTube. From we first started, I mean, Brooke's 18 this year. Like, Brooke was 10 when we started YouTube, 10, and Nice is 18 in November. 18. It's fucking scary. All those different birthdays we've had over the years, and all the different ups and downs, and the nights out me and Tony have had, and the trips away, and just one thing after another. In recent times there, we've had Dad, obviously with his recent heart attack, and just different wee things that have happened over the years, guys. There's well over 2,200 videos in that channel, which you can go through and check out all the stuff we have done over the years. There's stuff there I have of Brooke and Lewis when they were smaller that I haven't even released yet, which I will be releasing very, very soon. But it's just so nice to look back at all that sometimes and go, fuck, do you remember doing that? And do you remember this day? And do you remember that day? And it's just, when I look back at it now, I sort of go, wow, like, where has 7 years gone? It just went by so quick. It's unbelievable. 7 years on YouTube. But all I can say is, I mean, guys, honestly, the support we still get to this day is unbelievable. Whether you're sending in a message on Instagram or Facebook or an email to the podcast or whatever it is you're doing, or you stop us in the street, or you see us at a Belfast Giants game, or you see us at football, or you see us at Anfield, or wherever you see us, you come up to us and you say, "Oh, how are you? Nice to meet you," and blah, 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 blah. And, I have all the time in the world for people who are nice to us. People come to us and thank us for the videos and all. I absolutely adore that. People come up and just want to get a picture. Not a problem. If you come up to me and go, "Hey, mate, get a fucking photo," I'm going to go, "Pardon?" But 99.9% of these come up to me and go, "Oh, Matthew, nice to meet you, can I get a photograph?" Yeah, of course you can. Or can, "Hi, Matthew, nice to meet you, I love your videos and all, blah, blah, blah." Just things like that. I mean, even recently there in the last podcast, I mentioned at the start of this one, that wee family who are getting, the mum and dad are getting married and stuff like that, there would be things like that, just means so much to us. And when I look back at all that over the last 7 years, it's heartwarming. And not just that it's heartwarming, there's a lot of other things as well that are heartwarming. All the different stories that I hear from different people all the time, and they send me in all their different things that are happening in their life, and they say that they watch our vlogs to get through a day, or it's just there's so many things that has happened over the last 7 years with us, and we're so grateful for everything that you guys have done for us, whether it be watch a video, or listen to the podcast, or buy a t-shirt from the merch store, or just come and say hello in general. All those different things that just shows you that we have a support group, a network of followers that we appreciate. Obviously years ago we asked you what I think we should call ourselves, and you just come up with the Moore Army, and that's where we are now. We're the Moore Army, and it's just unreal. It really, really is unreal. Knowing the fact that you take a time out of your day to watch us or listen to me talk shite on a podcast every week, it just means so much to us. And it's great to have those memories to look back on, all those milestones over the last 7 years or so, and it's just unreal. And I can't say thank you enough. It really does mean a lot to me and the family as a whole, especially recently with Dad's recent heart attack and stuff. The way fucking amount of people got behind Dad was unreal. I'm actually hopefully going to see Dad here tomorrow, maybe, before I go to hockey, and say to him about coming onto the podcast for a chat. Not just about obviously his heart attack and stuff like that, but just a wee interview, chit chat with Dad, and have a wee chat and stuff. But with some of the stuff, you come in and like any big major thing happens to us, you guys are there in a heartbeat. With Dad recently, it's just like, wow, the pour of messages was just fucking incredible. And then our recent times as well, like last year when my relationship with Sandra ended, I was in a pretty down, bad place for a while, and you guys were supporting, and all the personal stuff that I've been through over the last 7 years, like for example, my divorce from my ex-wife, and all the different things that you kept going. And I've said this before in the vlog a few years ago, you are the ones that keep me motivating for picking up a camera every day, because it helps me with all my personal stuff going on. And maybe I've had a shitty week or a shitty day or whatever it is, and I pick up a camera and then I put a vlog out, and you guys help me keep doing that by sending me in messages, by saying, love the video, whatever, blah blah blah. I was talking to a fella I know last night, Chris, you call him, and he was telling me that he loves the videos. He loves when I wind the kids up, and he loves all whenever we're traveling all the time and we're doing all these wee different things. He just loves it. He says it's just a typical, normal, natural family. And Chris is a local actor and filmmaker himself here in Northern Ireland. He's starred in BBC TV shows and short films and whatnot. And him and actually have agreed we're going to meet up for a coffee soon. I'd love to get him on the podcast actually, because he's had a very interesting career. Have a wee chat with him. He's a lovely guy too, and he was telling me he loves the videos, and I just things like that, guys, just makes me motivated to pick up a camera and do more. So thank you very much for the last 7 years. Here's to the next 7 years if we're still here, which we are be, hopefully, touch wood. Burke and Lewis probably won't be around here as much anymore because in the next 7 years they'll probably both be growing up and away. So it'll be little old me. So it'll be, no doubt Lewis will still be hanging around because me and him are quite close. So Brooke will probably be away in the next 7 years. She'll be away doing her own thing and probably married and having babies. No, bringing no grandkids around here anytime soon. Like, I'm kidding. It's crazy how time goes by so quickly, guys, and the way the fact that like these 7 years have just flown by. So once again, thank you. It means a lot to everybody here in the Moore family for your support over the last 7 years, and long may it continue. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Right, let's get into some of your email. This is a longer podcast than normal. I've been doing some fucking ranting today, haven't I? I really have. Let's get into a couple of your messages before we go on to the favourite segment of the week and the naming. Should we say the christening? Or can I say that, or the woke tard's going to fucking nail me to the wall for saying it? Can't say he, she, or anything for the donkey. It's not a he or a she, it's the donkey or a donkey. Don't want to offend, easily offended now. No flakes welcome. Anyway, let's get into some of your lovely messages. Let's go to Instagram first today. So, I want to give a wee shout out on Instagram actually to a wee long time follower, actually, Jade. She mailed me this morning, bless her. A young girl from Southern Ireland down south who we met for the first time years ago. I was actually watching that vlog the other day. Yesterday, actually, I was just putting my recommendations where we saw that as well before. This was 2018, I think it was. We met her and her mum, I think it was, and her family in the square in Liverpool. The Coca-Cola had a thing on that day where they had a Premier League trophy in Liverpool for the day. And that's where we met them. And she's a long time follower of the show, and she wrote me a message today just asking, was I going to the Legends game this weekend? Guys, you all know I take Lewis to the Liverpool Legends game every year for his birthday, and then this year we're not going. He didn't want to go this year for some reason. Strange one. He just didn't want to go. So we're not going this year. I was there last year with Lewis and Sandra. That was a great day last year. We had a really good time last year. They played was it Barcelona they played last year? Was it? Yeah. They're playing Celtic this year, the Legends. So, yes. So Jade asked today, was I going? And said no. So Jade, shout out to yourself and your mum, and your mum's a lovely lady. I have both of them on my personal Facebook account as well, and they're lovely people, and they always leave lovely comments about the kids and stuff. So, Jade, tell your mum was asking about her, and I hope she's doing well too. I hope all your family's doing well. So thanks for the messages on Instagram today. I do appreciate it. But we're not going to the game this weekend, which is disappointing. We'll probably be there next year. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Oh yes, one here from Ryan wants to know. He's a question for the podcast this week. What's your review on this new drink, Prime? And it's so hard to buy. What else? He was on here to say, his first vlog he ever came across. Congratulations on 7 years on YouTube. He says the first vlog he ever came across was the time that Lewis went to the Merseyside Derby back in 2018. That's where we sat in the Everton end. Keep up the good work for the next 7 years ahead. Here's in our 7 years ahead. Can't believe it's been 3 years since the first lockdown. Yeah, that's true. What's my review on this drink, Prime? What can I say? There's not much more I can fucking say about it. You're paying extortionate money for a drink. People are beating the shit out of themselves to get a drink. Fighting and arguing and fucking standing in queues and fighting the shit out to get a drink. Why? There's no point in it. It's pointless. I've tried two wee sips of two, and they're alright. I wouldn't stand outside in the freezing cold first thing in the morning to run down, beat the shit out of someone to get past them to get a drink. No thanks. It's okay, but I don't see what the big, well, because obviously it's Logan Paul and KSI because they're big popular YouTubers. But I mean, like the fact that they're like literally, and then going back to what I was saying earlier on the podcast about businesses taking advantage. Fucking hell. Now we're on the subject of Prime. I found this page on Facebook, and it's in a place here in the Bangor, Newton Ards area. That's all I can say. And Lewis and I called into it it was the day that Dad's car was getting fixed. We took a dander in the shop, and they were selling bottles of Prime for 12 quid a bottle. Like, you get it in Asda for 2 quid, but this shop was selling it for £12 a bottle. And I witnessed people coming in and buying this, paying £12 for a fucking drink. Are you out of your goddamn motherfucking mind? Like, what? Seriously? Holy shit. I'm like looking at Lewis and I'm going, do you think I'm paying £12 for a bottle of Prime? You can fucking jump. And Lewis went, but I haven't tried that one yet. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. £12 for a fucking drink. You wouldn't even pay for a fucking alcoholic drink in a bar. I'm like, you ain't got a hope in hell of me fucking paying £12 for a drink. And then they were selling the energy drink tin for a tenner each, and I'm going. And I asked the person behind the counter, I says, why are you charging so much by the time we get it imported in? And I'm like, bullshit. Going back to what people were saying earlier on, we're talking about the cost of living crap. People jumping on the bandwagon, taking advantage. £12 for a bottle of Prime? Kiss my white hairy ass. You ain't got a chance of me paying £12 for a bottle of Prime. Not a fucking hope in hell. Even if it was the last drink on the shelf and I needed a drink, I'd rather go outside and drink rainwater. £12 for a drink that's like literally... couldn't believe it. People are taking advantage, knowing that people are going to pay it now because of the cost of living, all this bullshit. It's a fucking nightmare. And this wee shop was selling all this stuff to do with Prime, and I'm looking at Lewis and going, you ain't got a chance. Then Lewis went to Belfast with Mum and Dad. When was it? Last week? Mum and Dad took him out to get him some stuff for his birthday next week. He sent me a photograph. The KSI version of this drink is in Sainsbury's for 2 quid a drink, if you're lucky to get one. This shop in Belfast, 12 quid a bottle. And I'm like, are you fucking serious, Lewis? He sent me a photo on WhatsApp, and I'm like, 12 quid for a bottle of juice? You ain't got a fucking hope in hell am I paying £12 for a bottle of juice. Even your apparently Mum and Dad were shocked. They were like, what? For a drink? No chance. So to give you your answer on it, people are taking the piss out of it about the Prime drink. I don't see what the big thing about it is. It's because a YouTuber does it. You know, if I was massive like that and I found that businesses were selling it for 12 quid a pop, I'd bust their ass if it was my drink that they were selling. I'd be like, what the fuck are you playing at here? 12 quid a drink? No, I don't think so. So to answer your question, no. 12 quid for a bottle of Prime? Kiss my ass. Thanks for your message, Ron. Appreciate it. Let's move on to another one here from, where are we? From Laura. Another Laura? Sorry, Loreen. Not Laura. Loreen. L-A-U-R-E-N. Loreen. I read that wrong. I swear I need to start wearing my glasses more. Loreen wants to know, hi Matthew, love the podcast as always. I love the way you sit down and take time to communicate with your audience, which is great to see. A lot of podcasters I listen to don't communicate with their audience as much as you do. I did send you a message by email, but you must not have got that yet, so I thought I'd send one to you on Instagram. Just wanted to let you know that I am currently a student at Wolverhampton University and listen to your podcast regularly. I've even got my friends from all parts of the UK to listen to your podcast as well, as you like to be more involved with your audience, which I think is a great thing. I'm currently studying media myself here at university. I'm currently 20 years of age and looking for some ideas and ideas and information on how you got started in the world of making videos, media, podcasts, and more. Keep up the good work. Love the podcast every week. Take care, Loreen. I got that right. L-A-U-R-I. Okay. well, you're at Wolverhampton University. Well, guess what? My cousin's daughter also attended Wolverhampton University, and apparently it's a very good university. She's doing very, very well over there. I think she's actually finished now. Has she finished? I think she maybe has finished. I'm not too sure. I think it was last year she finished. My cousin's daughter done very, very well over there. How I got started in media? Fuck. Jeez. I've said this before in the podcast, I've always had a passion for making videos. Even before the likes of YouTube came around, I was always making like videos off computer games and TV and, you know, all different things. I used to make videotapes on the old VHS cassettes and then on DVDs, and then obviously went on the computers and whatnot. And then obviously I started working in local media with the football, because, before that even I was doing editing with a wrestling company. I used to do wrestling back in the day. I used to do all the video editing stuff as well, and just to make all these different videos and stuff like that. And then obviously I stopped the wrestling thing, started doing the football, started editing football highlights. And can I be totally honest with you, Lorraine? When it came to the editing, is all self-taught. I never went to university, didn't have no degrees, no media degrees or whatever out there. You know, I'm a type of person, I have a brain like a sponge, and I kind of like to learn as I go along. Like, I learned a lot of stuff about technology when I worked in Curry's as well. You know, before that I was obviously really switched on when it came to like computers and whatnot there, but I learned more there as well. Obviously because I was selling stuff, and then obviously computers were starting to change more back then, and obviously technology was starting to get more enhanced in the early mid-2000s and stuff. So, but when it came to the actual editing of videos and all, I'm self-taught right back from the days of VHS and sitting in my bedroom on a Sunday afternoon recording audio off the radio and doing cuts of music and intros and things like that there. I'm all self-taught. You know, I have no university degree. I go fuck all. I do it all myself. And I'm always wanting to learn and try new things and tweak things and, you know, all these different things. And again, I'm just me, and I've taught myself. When it comes to podcasting, I was doing a bit of obviously learning how to speak publicly in the days of right back from school days. And then obviously when I was a wrestler for 5 years, I used to stand in front of hundreds of people every night in crowds and do what they call promos, speak in front of audiences and chat in front of audiences. And then I've done podcasts, and then I was brought on as a radio presenter for a couple of years. So I learned a lot doing that. And then obviously doing TV presenting online for the Bangor TV, and obviously then I was doing a bit for Welders TV, and then obviously, you know, every week I do interviews with football managers, and it's all about learning as you go along. I mean, every broadcaster has a role, or someone who works in media has their own story, and I just literally I've been so fortunate what I have so far, and now I'm in a position now where, like, for example, my job in football, I walk into a football stadium and people know who I am right away, and it's kind of nice to have that feeling, especially when like footballers and ex-footballers who you used to watch when you were a kid walk up to you and go, "Oh, hey Matthew, how you doing?" And you're like, "Fuck me, I used to watch you when I was a kid, and now you're knowing who I am." And it's rewarding. But when it comes to like the editing and the podcasting and the radio presenting, all self-taught. You know what I mean? People say, "Fuck, dude, you have to go to university and do all this crap," and I'm like, fuck, I never went to university. I never got a chance. Number one, my parents couldn't afford to send me to university. So when I left school, I got my GCSEs and I went straight out to the working world when I was a kid. Basically out to the working world when I was 16. So I obviously picked up more qualifications as the year went by. I picked up MVQ level 1, 2 and 3. MVQ level 1 and 2 in nursing when I worked in care homes and out in the community looking after the elderly and whatnot. Then I've done 1, 2 and 3 in retail when I was working in Curry's, and obviously they all need renewed, obviously, because the retail world's all changed now, but, you know, just different qualifications. I've picked up communication awards, and, you know, also when it comes to like communicating as well, I've worked in call centres too, so I obviously work with the public, so I was constantly talking all the time to people. And then I had jobs in the public sector. I was a security officer for a couple of years, and I was always working with the public every day, so I was communicating, so I just loved to talk. And sometimes people tell me I talk too fucking much, but that's just that's just me. But I mean, that's my advice to you. I mean, if you're doing any studies at the minute at Wolverhampton University, get your head down. Do better than what I did. Literally get your head down and work hard. If it's something that you want to pursue in media, whether it be a TV presenter or a radio host or a camera person or work in a studio with media or work for a newspaper or whatever it is you want to fucking do, go for it. Don't let anybody hold you back. Don't let anybody say you can't do it. Just keep going. For years and years and years and years and years and years, I let myself be controlled by people saying, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't go this and you can't try that. And then my life stopped, obviously, then whenever my marriage ended, and I obviously had kids to raise up and whatever else, and I've been held back for a long time. But now I'm at the stage now where I'm starting to make more opportunities for me now, later in life, that I couldn't do because I was held back by being a single dad and whatnot. So just keep at it and keep working hard and work your ass off, because hard work does pay off. As I said, I've been quite lucky and quite fortunate in my journey so far. So honestly, keep the head down, keep working hard, and you will get there. So keep in touch with me and let me know how you're getting on. And thanks for spreading the word about the podcast with your friends. And if any of your friends are listening, I do talk shit quite a lot, but that's what the podcast does. It helps me. Helps me all unload all the crap that's in my mind. Thanks for spreading the word about the podcast. And keep working hard, because you will get that end goal. If you work hard enough, you'll get there. Trust me. You always get bumps in the road, but you will get there eventually. Thanks for the message. Sorry, I appreciate it. Right, let's get away from Instagram. Let's get on to the old emails. Let's move across here to the old trusty emails. MoorArmyPodcast@yahoo.com. Let's have a look here and see who wants to bend my ear today. Right, let's rock and roll here. Ross has sent me a message. Is it Ross? Yes, it is Ross. Ross, I had a message actually from a Ross not that long ago in an email. I don't know if it's the same person or not. Ross wants to know, hi Matthew, hope you're keeping well. Love the podcast, love all your videos on YouTube. Congratulations on 7 years on YouTube. I've been a fan of your channel for the last 3 to 4 years. Love all the content, and I hope that the channel picks up again like it used to. I know you've been quite busy recently with all your work schedule and etc, but at the end of the day, we will still support you as we always do in my household. Myself, my wife watch your vlogs regularly at night time when the kids are asleep, whenever we get peace. Ha ha ha. That's what he writes. I'm only reading what he writes. We have 2 boys aged 3 and 2, Scott and Jeremy, who also love you, but we watch the vlogs better at night whenever they are asleep. Just wanted to say congratulations, 7 years on YouTube. Keep up all the good work. Love all your work for your podcast and your YouTube channel. Say hi to Brooke and Lewis. Hope your dad's also keeping well too as well. Say hi to your mum and dad, and also your brother Tony. Take care. All the best, Ross. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate it. Yes, well, the best time is to watch TVs when the kids are in bed. So whenever your 3-year-old and 2-year-old are in bed, tell them, you want some peace and quiet. Yeah, that's when I kind of get to catch up with my programs and stuff when the kids are, they're mostly in bed already now. My kids are obviously a bit older now than what yours are. But yeah, thanks for the support. Appreciate it. The channel's going to start getting more vlogs. So they are, because obviously I've been very, very busy this past few months, so yeah, I'm just looking to forward to getting the channel back up and running again. So thanks for your email, Ross, appreciate it, and love to your family as well. It sounds like you have a lovely wee family there too as well, so thank you for the email. I do appreciate it a lot. Moving on, let's get on to another one here. Where are we here? Right, I've one here from, is it Peter? Aye. Peter Davison? Davison? Yes, Peter Davison. Hi, Matthew. Just wanted to drop a wee email for this week's podcast. First of all, say congratulations for 7 years on YouTube. Thank you very much. Second of all, I know obviously you like to talk about politics ever so slightly on the podcast. Not all the time. But I just wanted to ask you a quick question about Tony Blair. Fuck. Tony Blair. He's another fucking moron. What's your thoughts on Tony Blair's recent interviews when he's talking about how a way we should be treated as human beings, where we should be traced digitally and also by our obviously tracked. Sorry, but where we? I'm trying to read his email here. Must have been a spell checker on the phone or something. He goes on here to say, yes, check digitally and also check by where we are every day in life. I personally think it's an invasion of privacy and taking away our freedoms as a human being. What's your thoughts on Tony Blair? I know you don't like to talk about politics all the time, but I just thought I'd bring this one up here, as you have mentioned Boris Johnson and others recently. Okay. Tony Blair, can I be honest? It is unleashed after all, isn't it? I really don't like to say this word this often, but can I say it in the podcast? Fuck it. Tony Blair is a cunt. Sorry if I've offended any of the snowflakes. And I haven't really used that word that often on this podcast. I don't think I actually have. I think this is the first time I've actually used that word. Tony Blair is an evil cunt. Straight to the point. He's a nasty, vindictive, weasel little man. When he was Prime Minister, he was the one see, I could go on all night about this motherfucker. He really makes me angry. I blame Tony Blair for us invading in the Iraqi war, us invading Afghanistan after 9/11. Thousands of innocent British soldiers being killed is because of fucking Tony Blair. Putting our country, our United Kingdom, into fights with countries that we didn't even need to be involved in. Immigration through the fucking roof because of Tony Blair. Tony Blair recently has been doing interviews about saying that we should be receiving multiple shots of different vaccines. We should be tracked and traced of where we are, to find out where we are for safety of others. Tony Blair is an evil rat bastard who needs to be shown the door when it comes. He shouldn't even be allowed even on a television screen anywhere in your politics anymore. He's an evil, twisted wee rat. And as years went by, he has got worse. And see, since that COVID stuff came around, he was going on about saying about anti-vaxxers and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something, Tony Blair. As I always say, my body, my life, my choice. You don't like it? Fuck you. I don't like Tony Blair. I think he's a rat. He's a weasel. He's an evil, vindictive wee bastard who needs to be shown the door. And them recent interviews, I have seen what he's been doing recently. I've seen them interviews, and it makes my skin crawl. Maybe we should be traced and tracked like animals. What are you going to do? Put tags around our ankles like fucking sheep and name and tag us like we're animals? Like have us all lined up like cattle like we did during COVID, all to suit your fucking needs. Have us injected multiple times, multiple shots of COVID vaccines and all these are vaccines to track and trace where we are digitally. Tony Blair, you can kiss my ass. And I could go on about him all night, all the different things that he's done over the years. And I'm not going to anymore because I don't want to rant on anymore because I have been ranting on quite a bit. But Tony Blair, you are a rat and I don't like you. I don't trust you. And as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to say to him. I remember being asked about 20 years ago when he was Prime Minister, maybe more. Oh, if Tony Blair ever come over to Northern Ireland and put his hand out to shake your hand, what would you say to him? I'd spit in his fucking face. I can't stand him. I literally can't stand him. I never liked him when he was Prime Minister. Yeah, I always thought he was really arrogant and up his own fucking ass and loved himself, and thought he was just so, oh, look at me, I fucking hate people like that. So to answer your email, sorry about a rant there, but that's just being honest. I don't like him. I just don't like the man. And recently with them interviews, it's made my skin fucking crawl. Like literally make my skin crawl. So no thank you. He's just one who I prefer not to be involved with or have in my life. So thank you for your email, but thanks for the insight now, because thank you for making me bring him up. I was going to bring Tony Blair up eventually one day on the podcast, but I'm not a big fan of his, so I'm not. So right, I'm going to go on because I have been baffling on here for an hour and a half today in the podcast. I guess it's actually the longest podcast I've ever fucking done. Right, let's get on to the favourite segment that you all love. before we do go to that, it is night time. Sorry, I'll do this first. It's night time for the segment you all love. It's night time for the Moore Army Podcast Jackass of the Week segment. There's the donkey sound. Didn't say he or she, in case you fucking politically correct bullshitters are crying. Anyway, before I name the Jackass of the Week for this week, it's night time to name the donkey. Now, I've had a lot of you contacting me about the donkey. We should be calling it, somebody's even wanted me to call it Gary Lineker. I've had ones like Donald Trump, Matt Hancock, Harry. I've had ones even call it Meghan Markle. I've had people call it Piers Morgan. People calling it all different people he don't like in football. I even had one of these even wanted me to call it Roy Keane. Gary Neville from football. Jamie Carragher. Man United supporters coming in saying I should call it fucking Mo Salah. People coming in saying from Man United, I actually had two people I remember saying that I should have called it Hernandez, who played for United. I've had all these different people naming it, all these wee silly names, but by far the most people have come in with the most after going through so many of you to do it. There's one name that has stood out the most over all of you. And I think we're going to go with that name. We're going to call the donkey, as of today, we are going to be calling a Moore Army Podcast Jackass of the Week, the donkey. His name, as of today, will be Boris. And you're probably like, because of Boris Johnson? Yes, because so many people have said to me about calling him Boris. Not, well, obviously Boris Johnson, but I'm going to call him Boris Johnson. I'm going to call him Boris. Boris the donkey. Because he is a fucking donkey. He haws like a jackass. He bumbles and stumbles and so a lot of yous, and I mean a lot of yous, have been coming in with Boris. So I've decided to call it Boris. And the first ever Boris Jackass of the Week for this week is, can I get a drum roll please? Thank you very much. The Moore Army Podcast Boris Jackass of the Week for this week is Boris Johnson. Yes, good old Boris Johnson. It's because of the Partygate bullshit this week. He's now humbling and stumbling and bumbling and fooling around saying, oh, sure, the party. And then, yeah, you're a fucking jackass, Boris. And you all know you're a jackass, you're a liar, you're a weasel, and you're a rat. So this week's first ever Boris Jackass of the Week is Boris Johnson. So there you go. Boris the donkey. Yes, must try and get a donkey graphic done for social media and put Boris's face on it. But then maybe the wee snowflake Guardian readers will all be coming in crying and boo-hooing and whinging in the mirror. Fuck them. Hey ho. Anyway, yes guys, thank you for everybody who has been sending in over the last couple of weeks the names. I've seen some really cool ones like Wookie Dookie the donkey and Gary Lineker and fucking somebody was even saying like it should have been called Megan. But then, you know, people come and go, oh, but you called it a girl and you're being sexist. Fucking wankers, honest to God. But it's not called Boris the Donkey. So there you go. Boris the Donkey. Moore Army Podcast, Jackass of the Week. Moore is now Boris. So thank you guys for all your suggestions. I appreciate it. Love yous all for it. It means a lot to me. Anyway, I'm going to hit the road and head on down the road here, guys. Thanks for the last 7 years of YouTube. I appreciate it again. I have rambled on quite a bit today, but I don't give a shit. I actually feel better for it now, so I'm going to go and get ready and gotta take Lewis out for a haircut today too as well. Needs a fucking haircut badly. His hair looks terrible at the minute. So gotta go and get all that sorted out too as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And then beer time tonight. Hell yeah, time for a cold one tonight. Feet up. And what I'll do is when I'm having a beer, I'll sit on my phone and answer a lot of your Instagram messages and stuff like that there. But that's only after the first 1 or 2 beers, because after that I'll not be replying anymore, because once they get 4 or 5 beers into me, then I might miss a few letters and text them back to you. So I apologise for that. Thank you for all your messages today as well, guys. I'm going to get through as many of them as I can. I'm going to go here now and get on with the rest of my day. Hope you all have a good day yourself. Stay tuned for later on today when we drop this video on the 7 year on YouTube. It's pretty much just me talking about the last 7 years. Stay tuned for that. Do a few wee overlays, a couple of wee shots over the years as well. You see a couple of wee flashbacks and stuff like that on the podcast, the video. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, it's not a bad wee video. It's only on for a couple of minutes, just me talking about the last 7 years and stuff like that. So I'll be dropping today, and then I'll get some more footage when I'm out today with Lewis getting his hair cut, and we're going to be walking through the park. So might stop by and see the ducks. Brooke's favourite thing in the world, ducks. Brooke's obsessed with ducks. So she is. So anyway, guys, yes, before I do go, next week's podcast is on Tuesday. It's Lewis's birthday on Monday. So if you want to send in some birthday messages for Lewis, I would appreciate it. His birthday's on Monday. I'm away to Dublin this weekend as well on Sunday for the Snoop Doggy concert. So I'll be talking about that on Tuesday's podcast. So I'll be telling you about my trip to Dublin, any craziness going on down there. Anybody who I've been speaking to recently on the podcast or emails who are in the Dublin area, we are in Dublin, so if you're about the city centre, give us a shout and we'll hopefully meet up with you. So yeah, I got a busy weekend of football, hockey and Snoop Dogg on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to. Plenty of vlogs coming out from Dublin as well, from Tony and I. So stay tuned for all those coming up as well. So it's going to be a pretty busy next few days on the YouTube channel, and also I'll be doing the podcast on Tuesday next week as well. And if you want to get any messages in for Lewis, I would appreciate it, guys, because this is his birthday on Monday. He turns 14. I know, it's crazy. Right, guys, if you are, again, wanting to get in touch with the podcast before I go for future episodes, it's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Contact us on all the social media. The website, moorarmy.co.uk, for all your merch and more. And if you're listening to us here on YouTube, don't forget to hit like on this video and also subscribe below as well. Right, guys, until next Tuesday, have a good weekend. I'm going to have an awesome weekend. Beer, and more beer. Snoop Dogg concert, football, ice hockey. I'm having a great weekend. Till next Tuesday, guys, enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you all soon, guys. Thanks for all the support for the last 7 years. I appreciate it. See you all next Tuesday, guys. Thanks for listening.